You're on, Jim.
Good morning, everybody. Jim Feist, Greg DePalma here from Las Vegas and North Carolina. And we're going to be talking about the Derby today a little bit with John Hordoon. This is the Dom DeMarco sponsored show here in Las Vegas. It's a great restaurant on West Charleston, 9785 West Charleston. Great pizza, great Italian food, great desserts. Super wine selection at discounted rates. You have to stop in if you're in Las Vegas, ever in Las Vegas. I'm sure you're all going to come here to Las Vegas someday. And
yes, I will. I will be there someday.
Someday.
Yes. Okay. What are you more excited about? Football season to start, or for you to go back into the restaurant because football season is going to start so you can go to the restaurant?
That's a good one. I like going to the restaurant. That's one thing, but I love football. So I miss the football season, no matter where I'm doing it from. But the combination of the restaurant and the football season and all the people that I meet every week is pretty exciting for me. I love it.
Yeah, that's why we get a little bit. It's like a drug addict that is tapering down, and then every once in a while he a friend comes in town and says, "Hey man, we're gonna party all weekend." It's like, all right, let's go, let's party. And then that's the NFL draft, and then he comes home. This is 48 hours after he comes home from the weekend, and now he's like, oh, he's tapering down again. He's like, oh shit, what's next? I guess the NFL schedule release. All right, I'll see my buddy again in 3 weeks. So that's yeah. Well, it's crazy, but that's why the NFL is king, because it can still get you even when the season's over.
It really is king. I mean, even all this other stuff going on with baseball and basketball and hockey and everything, they do. The NFL does something and everything drops off, and the media and everybody just wants to know what's going on with football. So, I mean,
yeah.
It's really amazing what power it has. And
well, we're going to be talking, by the way, we're going to talk NFL again. Like I said, the schedule releases in a couple of weeks. We're going to have a special show on our Playbook ATS podcast, which is every Friday. And on the Friday show, you and Andy gave away some more picks in the NBA and in Major League Baseball. And right now, and we've been keeping tabs on the picks since I've been hosting the show. And we've been doing the picks in both NBA and Major League Baseball the last few weeks on both this show and the Friday show. And Jim, you're off to an 8-0 start. And Andy is he only has one loss. I think Andy is 5-1, I think. So collectively, you 13, guys, 13-1.
I don't think we can maintain that that percentage the rest of the way, but let's just say we're going to try to do as well as good as we can.
Yeah,
I mean, 13-1 is kind of insane, and 8-0 is even more insane. But we'll keep it going.
Try to. So what do you like? Because John Hordoon is going to be calling in about 10 minutes, and that's when we're going to talk some Kentucky Derby. So before then, Jim, go ahead and what do you want to talk first, NBA or baseball?
Well, I'm looking at the thing. The NBA is at the top here. So Boston can close, they can close out Philly, and San Antonio can close out Oakland. And quite frankly, they're really not competitive teams. If the teams that are favored, which is Boston and San Antonio, both by 11.5, 12 points, big numbers. I don't like laying big numbers. I'm more of a dog player, but I don't like to just play the dogs because they're dogs.
Well, what about in these closing series games, though? Do you find that most of the time, even those big dogs just wind up, it's over, especially when they're on the road, and it can be a blowout?
Well, a lot of it, Greg, is more about what the favorite does. That all these guys, everybody is playing for their contracts. I mean, they're all going to try to negotiate, especially if you're players that are kind of marginal and they're not under contract for the following year or so. they're going to play hard. I mean, Philadelphia is not a bad, terrible team, but they're not a real good team this year. And Embiid has been in and out and up and down.
Who do you like better
That's
out of
been,
the two favorites?
that's been for years. He's been like that.
Yeah, it's nothing new.
Portland's shorthanded. I mean, they're not, you're talking about 11 and a half point favorites here in the Spurs and the Celtics. But to me, the best thing to do with if you want to watch the action between in those teams, I'd probably just parlay the money line, Boston and San Antonio. You're not going to get much back for it because they're both big favorites. And money line parlay, you might end up laying 2-1 on it, but because of the
That's
price.
not too bad.
But at least you can sit there and watch the TV. If you like basketball, it's something. I'm not going to suggest anybody lay these points. I mean, it's just too many points. But like the other night, there was so much action on the Lakers when they went to Houston, and the Lakers could have closed it out 4-0, and they never showed up. And the money kept rolling in on the Lakers. I mean, the game open was like 6 Houston, and it was ended up Houston 2, and Lakers never showed up. And so the people who were betting the game got murdered with that kind of money move. So it's sketchy. And the NBA is sketchy. These guys don't play, full on out like if you go back 20, 30 years, that wasn't the case. I mean, like the Larry Birds and the Mike, the Johnsons and all these old players that played every game and every minute, they're not like that anymore. They're a little bit more prima donnas. They make a lot of money. They don't.
Well, that's why I think that there's a potential for a blowout in either series, in either game, because of that.
You also have potential for things like I'm, saying, well, the Lakers were favored or not favored, and they got all the money and they lost the game and they were never close. So you can also have upsets, but I don't see Philadelphia and Portland winning these games. So I'd say a money line parlay, Boston and San Antonio. Sit back and have a pizza and watch the games. It'd just be fun.
By the way, it's minus 256. So that's what I get. So if you put down 100, you would make 40.
It's a bad bet, but if you just want to have action. And like pizza money, you're not betting big money. I don't care if it's $20 or $15, or if you have to watch that game, or you can go over and watch some other series on television. But if you
how about this game, Atlanta Knicks?
Well, I'm not going to talk about that one because that game happens to be one of my big plays.
Okay.
I'm not going to talk too much about
Well, we have a link in the description of this video. You can check it out if you want to find out what Jim likes in this game. And again, as I said, at least on this show, over the last few weeks, he's 8-0. So take that for whatever you want. And then how about the other games? You got the games tomorrow. Also big lines, 9.5, 8.5. The Laker game is only 4.5, yet they're at home, up 3-1 in the series.
Well, the Lakers were never considered to be the favorite in this series, and KD, that's Durant, has been hurt and he's played in and out. And if Houston is because of the injuries that the Lakers have, which is Reeves and Luka, you can't really favor the Lakers. They're playing shorthanded, and they got a 41-year-old guy out there named LeBron James, who's absolutely amazing at his age to do what he's doing. But you can't really favor them too much because they're really playing shorthanded. Now, even if Reeves or Luka come back after such a layoff, you don't know how they're going to be. And that's the same thing with Durant, although Durant is a little bit special. If he comes back, he's going to still score 20, 25. Because of that, that's who he is.
How did they win? How do they have this lead then in the series?
Well,
injuries to Houston?
Yeah, a little bit with Durant not being up to snuff, and quite frankly, the Lakers have picked up this Luke Kennard, and they've played out of their minds. really, really over their heads. Nobody expected it. And quite frankly, I think they're going to play over their heads again, but I don't know if they're going to cover 4.5.
Down to 3.5 as we speak.
See, that's the thing, because that's probably telling you Katie's going to play. And here's the thing is, everybody expected Houston to just pack it in, pack their bags, get ready for their off season. And what do? They come into the game the other night with all the money coming in on the Lakers, and the Lakers never showed up, and Houston played out of their mind. So if they did that in that game, why wouldn't they do that in this game? And if the Lakers aren't any healthier, and we can't say that they would be, even if those guys came back, if Luka came back and Reeves came back, you don't know what kind of condition they are.
Okay.
So I can understand people saying this might be a Houston play, because you're getting points. Luke, I'm sure Katie's probably going to try to play here. So I understand what they're saying.
Okay.
I don't have the inside information, so therefore I'm going to sit on my hands.
All right.
And probably I do a lot of in-game betting, and of course I don't have that information right now. So, but while I'm watching that game tomorrow, I will know what to do, because I'll see what's happening.
Okay, so just before we hook up with John, you got a pick in baseball you can give us?
Oh, that's easy.
Oh, easy. All right.
That's easy.
What's that one? Give us one, because we don't have a pick yet. So
okay, there's a great game. Texas and the Yankees, Schlitter and DeGrom. I mean, you have two excellent pitchers that are pitching out of their minds. The Yankees are a little bit of a favorite on the road. They're 120, 122. Some places are 116, 117. DeGrom is, of course, an excellent pitcher when he's healthy, and he seems to be pretty healthy right now. I'm going to say that the total 7.5, and I'm going to play the first 5 under. I'm going to take the Yankees minus the 116 to 120, whatever price you get in there. But I'm going to say the first 5 will go under what the first 5 line is on the total, and I'm going to take the Yankees to win the game.
Okay, so we just have
That's 2 bets.
Yeah, just trying to see if I could find out. You don't have. Let me see if I can find out what the.
I don't have the first 5 line right in front of me.
Is that something they normally have?
You're probably looking at 3.5 or 4.
Let's see. Where would they put that in a regular sports book? Oh, probably. Okay, I see. Probably under the prop bets. All right, so let me see. Let's see if I see first 4 innings. Would that be under?
It's first 5 innings.
First 5 innings. Let's see if. Oh, here it is. First 5 innings. Oh, that's okay. I got the spread. That's not what we want, right? We want.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Oh, it is. So we want.
First
they're not
5
giving us. They're not getting. Oh, you want the no, but you want. Oh, you want the under. That's right. That's the spread I'm looking at. Though. I need the under first 5 innings. Okay. Let's see. Total runs. No. Interesting that they got the total runs over under starting at 6 innings. Why do they do that? Let's see. I'm trying to find. Here is first 5 innings, total runs. I got 4.5 innings. Does that work?
4.5 in the first 5 innings?
It says 4.5
innings.
Oh, well, it says first 5 innings, and on the left-hand side, it says 2.5, 3, 4, 4.5. And then it's over, under, and it gives you the lines. What's 2.5, 3, 4, and 4.5?
It wouldn't be 4.5. Not when the total is 7.5. That's not right.
That's the innings.
I'm going to say you're betting the first 5 under 3.5. That's probably the right number.
Yeah, I probably have to keep searching through here because I don't have. They're not.
I just don't have an extra screen to go look at it right now.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, so let me see if I see anything else. Total bases, winning margin. No. Okay. So what did you have? What was that number probably going to be?
I'd say 3.5.
3.5. Okay. Wow, that's low. Under 3.5.
Yeah, well, you may not get any. You might get any runs with these guys. These guys are such good pitchers that you basically you're betting on the pitchers.
Yeah.
They're really good. These two pitchers are great. If they're in form, you're probably not going to hit them.
That's not a bad idea.
But they're only going to be in the game probably 5 innings or 6.
Exactly. That's why it's better to do that, and you get the 2 starting pitchers. Okay, let's talk some.
Well, I see John's in here. Hi, John.
Well, we got to add John to the stage. John, can you hear us?
I hear you perfect, loud and clear.
Excellent. How's it going, John? Where are you?
Are you in New York? Car, John?
Yes, I had to pull off the road. I'm on my way to Kennedy Airport. I'm on a flight to Vegas, so
really
pulling over and spending some time with you guys.
Well, that's great.
See,
where are you? Where are you? What state?
Oh, New York State. Okay. Driving down from Saratoga to Long Island.
All right.
All right. Well, the first thing I want to throw out there, John, and of course, we're going to do the Kentucky Derby special show right here at Proline TV on Thursday at 2:00 Eastern. So John will be in Las Vegas, and it'll be early in the morning for John after he takes his flight in on Wednesday. So we're going to get him bright and early on Thursday morning. I'm sure he's going to be in a great mood. And so we'll go over the entire field and the Kentucky Oaks. Of course, the Oaks is on Friday. But the big story, of course, John, is the favorite of the race is Renegade. And he's the morning line favorite at 4-1. And he's on the rail. When was the last time this ever happened? Because I don't remember this happening.
Well, the last horse to win breaking from the rail was 1986 when Ferdinand did it with Bill Shoemaker. So that was quite a long time back. However, it's really not the same situation because 6 years ago, they went and they made, it used to be 2 starting gates. They would have the first 15 horses in one part of the gate, and then there would be an extension where the other 5 horses would be like, they would call it an auxiliary gate. So when you broke from the rail in those days, you were really totally up against it because unless you had enough speed to clear, you were going to be forced to check because you go right into the turn. It's kind of confusing unless you understand what I'm talking about. Anyway, 6 years ago, they got with the times and they built a gate special for the Derby that has 20 stalls in it. So there's no more 2 gates. It's only 1 gate now. But even since doing that, while the rail is not as bad as it used to be, the rail still has not won. So listen, when you break from the inside and you got 19 horses outside of you, you either need a lot of speed or a lot of luck. And this horse has no speed, so he's in trouble because he's going to get forced to check out of the race. He's going to have to circle most of the field, and he's going to need to be able to get through. So for that reason, I don't think you want to play this horse as the favorite. Not only that, there are other horses in the race that I think certainly look as good or better, like Chief Wallaby, lightly raced horse from the Bill Mott barn, who won last year with Sovereignty. By the way, also Sovereignty last year broke from post 18. Anyway, Chief Wallaby, 3 career starts. He's run well in all 3 of them. And then the 18 horse, Further Ado, for trainer Brad Cox. This horse is just getting really good now. He won last time out at Keeneland by about 12 lengths, and people think that, well, it may be Keeneland because he's had 2 races at Keeneland, and he's won by a combined 31 lengths. So the question is he getting good, or does he like Keeneland? Well, he kind of tipped his hat last week when Brad Cox, after the work, said it was one of the best works he's ever seen for a 3-year-old. So yeah, this horse just could be getting good at the right time. He breaks from the 18 post. Sovereignty last year, if you remember, he broke from the 18 post when he won. So you could win from out there. So those were the 2 horses that I liked in the Derby. I like Chief Wallaby and Further Ado, and obviously when we see the odds, we'll make a final decision. Chief Wallaby is listed at 8-1. Further Ado is listed at 6-1. Chief Wallaby is ridden by Junior Alvarado, who rode Sovereignty last year. And Further Ado gets Johnny Velasquez for the first time. There's an interesting thing that happened here. Irad Ortiz rode Further Ado in his last win. He rode Commandment in his last win. and he rode Renegade in his last win. So everybody wanted to see, well, who's Irad Ortiz going to go to? The only problem was Irad Ortiz had to make the call before they drew the post position. I'm not so sure he would have chosen Renegade, but there's also a sidebar to that story. On Friday in the Oaks, Zany, also trained by Pletcher, also owned by Rapoli. I'm sure he made a deal, ride to Philly. If you ride to Colt, you get to ride to Philly. So, there may have been some bargaining going on behind the scenes that we're not privy to.
Wow. And one of the questions I was going to ask you, because I know that they made the favorite Renegade, and all the things that you say about the rail and everything else and the horses, he's going to be in pretty bad shape when they all break ahead of him. Why do they keep betting him? I mean, it's like they're ignoring everything you're saying, and I totally agree with you that that's not for a horse that doesn't have that all get out of the gate fast, that speed. I don't know why they're doing that.
I'm not so sure he'll be the favorite at post time, to be honest with you. But they're betting him off of his record. He's got 5 career starts. He's got 2 wins, 2 seconds, and a third. So he's never missed the board for the most part. But you could say the same thing about a lot of other horses in the race, like Chief Wallaby. He's got 3 starts, a first, a second, and a third. And further ado, the other horse that I like, 6 starts, 3 wins, a second, and a third. So these horses know how to, run. And they're all trained by terrific trainers. You got Mott, you got Pletcher, you got Cox. Those are 3 of the best. I'll tell you one thing, though. Between the 2 races on Friday and Saturday, and Friday is the Oaks. That's the race for the fillies. I love a horse in that race, and I'm going to share him with you and all your listeners today, and it's a price horse.
Wow.
If you come back on Thursday on our show, we'll give you the hookups with Greg. But I love Prom Queen, a 3-year-old filly from the Brad Cox barn. 3 starts. She's won 2 of the 3, and she's really good. She's listed at 8-1 on the morning line. She's breaking from the 10 post, but there's going to be a late scratch in there of number 8, Bottle of Rouge. So she gets to move in 1 post. She's breaking from post 9, but she's number 10 if you're betting. And I really love that horse. 8-1 is an unbelievable price. If you get anywhere near that number, run to the windows.
Okay.
All
I'm
right.
going to start running right now.
And there are some opportunities too out there where you can find because some sports books might still allow you to wager on the number that you get right now for the Derby. I know they only do it for selective races.
That's called a future bet. I don't know if they still let you do that. Now with the days of pari-mutuel, Vegas is not what they used to be. They rather you put the money through the windows than book the bets. But what you could do in a lot of these casinos and horse rooms is they have matchups. Like they'll have Prom Queen against, say, Zany or something. You know what I mean? So that's what I love to do when I'm there. I love to find a place that has matchups, and I get involved with the matchups. I think we have a big edge.
Yeah, Bovada, the sports book I use, they do have futures.
Yeah,
so I can go right now and I can just get it. Now, again, you wouldn't want to get Renegade now at 4-1 anyway.
No,
so you'd want to wait.
What is Prom Queen?
Prom Queen, you could lock it in at 12-1.
That's not a bad bet.
Okay, I'll make sure to do that then. 12-1 on Prom Queen in the Kentucky Oaks. And as John said, we'll go over the entire picks, all the exotics, including, of course, for both races. And we'll go through the entire field. Joe Urbo wanted to know, did they scratch Golden Tempo yet? Cracked heels are very serious.
Does he have a cracked heel? Well, that's like a cracked thumbnail. It's a lot of pain, but it's pretty hard to run on it. What they do is they'll give you a bar shoe, which kind of connects the 2 halves of the hoof that's split, but it's a big disadvantage running with a bar shoe. Did they announce he has a quarter crack? It's called a quarter crack, I guess. So he'll become Sherry DeVoe?
Yeah, Joe Urbo said, trainer Sherry DeVoe said that Golden Tempo has cracked heels and that they are dealing with it. When you have an issue, you deal with it. Golden Tempo should be scratched.
Okay, well, there it is.
We'll see. Okay, so, and that's it right now. As far as you mentioned the scratch, that's already going to happen in the Oaks. Is that correct? That's going to be
the Bob Baffert horse is out. She started coughing the other day after her workout, so they sided on the side of caution, I guess. And then
Bottle of Rouge.
Yes. So
Okay.
you know who's going to draw in now? Who's going to draw in is Lovely Gray, and that's Dave Portnoy's horse. So he's going to get a lot of social media. The odds on that horse, I would say, is going to be a lot less than the 30-1. But I don't think she has much of a chance.
Okay. So the 15, Lovely Gray, then is more than likely going to make the race.
She is
So
making the race. She made the race. She's
she
in
made the
already.
race. She's
Yes.
in. Okay. Yeah, because she's only
how about
one.
rain, John? Is there going to be rain there?
There is a chance of rain the next few days. One thing about Churchill Downs, this is the fastest drying track in the country. I was there a few years ago. In the morning, it was like a flood. You were in the shower, you turn on the shower, and it rained like for 3 hours. But came post time, believe it or not, the track was actually fast. Churchill Downs dries out faster than any track. Unless it's going to rain within an hour or so before the race, the track will be fine.
Excellent information. Yeah.
As far as any of the long shots, and again, we'll talk more in depth about them because there are a lot of them. Are there a couple of the long shots? I'm talking like 20-1 or higher that are the most interesting.
Are we talking Derby or Oaks?
Either one.
Well, the Derby, I don't know. There was some interesting. The horse that Chad Brown sends out, Emerging Market, is 15-1, but that horse has Flavian Pratt and Chad Brown. Unlikely that you'll get that price on that horse. There are a couple of horses. The interesting Japanese horse is the 7 horse Dan Bourbon, who we do have numbers on this year. But again, no Japanese horses come and won the Derby, so this would be a first, but they're trying it. Forever Young, if you remember last year, won the Breeders' Cup Classic. He was from Japan, but they haven't had much success, but the horses are certainly starting to run a lot better the last couple of years.
Yeah, let's see, Dan Bourbon. Yeah, so that's the best of the imports, right?
Of the Japanese, you have the Japanese horses.
3 for 3.
Yep.
Let's see. Wonder Dean, is that another one? That horse is 2 wins.
He's from Maydan. Yeah, he ran it. Yeah, but the other horse was faster in his
6 speed. 6 speed has won 3 races.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, though, the other one, the first one I mentioned, that looks like the one to. Again, I haven't seen the sheets myself. Are they out yet for the 2 races?
They just came out about 12:30. So as soon as I land somewhere, I'll get them and send them over to you, Greg.
And then that means, of course, they're available to everybody that's watching. If you want to know what the sheet numbers are for these 2 big races, you could check out the Ragazine sheets. We have links in the description of our shows, and obviously we'll talk more about that on Thursday. Are you still there? Oh, we still got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a question for you with the controversy about the AI, the computerized stuff that's going on, and people are saying it's going to ruin racing. Do you see it? They can always point out the negatives. Are there any positives to all of that?
There are 0 positives to it, and it's not AI that's doing it. It's called CAW, computer assisted wagering. So what they have is they have they're betting millions of dollars in the last minute of every race, with post time on big days like this. Usually it's less than millions of dollars, obviously, and they're working on a 10% rebate, which the public isn't privy to. So all they're trying to do is break out even and earn the 10% rebate. So if they make $1 million, if they bet $1 million, well, a month or whatever it is, so they're going to get back $100,000 if they just break even from the rebate. It's really bad for racing. It's terrible for racing. Last week I bet a horse that was 8-1 when he left the gate. That's $18 if he wins. I ended up getting $8. That's how much money was bet. So could you imagine betting a football game or something where you guys are getting 7 points, or you bet it getting 7 points, and then when it came to the time, well, they moved it to 9 points. Well, if you got in at 7 points, that's good. But in horse racing, it's not like that. You're getting the $8 instead of the $18. It's horrible. Big players are running away from the game. They're going to bet sports. They're going to play poker. We have lost a lot of people, and it's horrible, horrible, horrible. But the problem is the tracks are in bed with these CAWs. Why? Because it increases handle. So in the long run, they're cutting their nose to spite their face, because in the short term, while it helps handle and everything and it looks good for the bottom line, in the long run, they're chasing away the everyday players. They don't want to deal with it anymore. You can't do that. You can't expect to get $18 and get $8. That's just wrong. And that's what's happening.
Is there any chance of legislation going to correct
Well,
this?
there's all kinds of class action suits, and again, I try. You got to understand the racetracks. As much as they know it's hurting them, they don't want to chase them away because it's helping their handle. So they're really stuck in the middle. They're damned if they do, and they're damned if they don't. But at this point, they're siding with the CA. They're siding with the CAW players at this point.
What happens? What's going to happen is, of course, you're going to have all this handle, but when you look in the state, there's not going to be anybody there.
Exactly. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And that's what they're headed for. If you go back and you look at the overall handle the last 10 years, it's down all kinds of money because they're losing the everyday player. They're catering to these big, guys that are betting all kinds of money, like I said, and earning rebates. It's kind of like people that get this rebate and have access to these computer things, the computer programs. Well, we don't have access to it, and we bet all kinds of money too. So it's only open to certain people, which isn't fair. So let's see what happens when they get to court.
That's terrible, and yeah, they'll ruin an industry. Of course, they've tried they've tried to ruin the horse racing industry for a long time by overtaxing it, and that's been a big problem. But
all right, John, can you hear me? No, you still have hearing problems there? All right, John, we'll let you go if you get that signal. Yeah, John's having some issues with the connection there, but we're going to let John go anyway. He has to get on his flight. Once again, John already gave you his pick for the Kentucky Oaks. That is going to be, let me get it here again. That is going to be the 10 Prom Queen. And interesting enough, Prom Queen is 8-1 on the morning line. But in my sports book, Bovada, and I'm not sure, a lot of these sports books are pretty similar. Some, you can definitely go and you get some different lines, which is a very good thing to do. And you can get 12-1 if you want to just go by the future.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm back. I lost you guys. I'm sorry.
You can hear us now?
Yes, perfect.
Okay. Well, before I let you go then, John, one last thing. How would you compare this year's Derby with last year's Derby as far as the talent?
Well, to be honest with you, I think last year's Derby was really good, even though you had one horse that was better than the rest of them. Like Sovereignty was better than Journalism and better than Baez, if you remember. They all tried to beat him, and no one could. He didn't run in all the races. He passed the Preakness. He ended up passing some other race. I guess he passed the Breeders' Cup Classic as well. This year, it's more competitive. You can make a solid case for 4 or 5 of these horses. Last year's Sovereignty was a notch better than the rest of them.
Yeah, and if the one winds up again in a bad position because he's on the rail, then that's going to make things a little bit more interesting because that's what you want. You don't want the favorites winning.
No.
Even though the favorites have been, for the most part, except for that one horse that won a few years ago, the winner of the, what was that? Was that the winner from the
Strike Gold or whatever? Yeah.
Yeah, that besides that horse, I think the last 7 or 8 derbies have been most of the favorites or most of the top contenders.
But just remember one thing: a favorite like on Derby Day could be 4 or 5-1. It's not going to be like an 8-5 or 6-5 because first of all, you're dealing with a 20-horse field, and you have money spread out all over, and you got a lot of dead money where people are just betting names and jockeys and colors of the horses or whatever. So you get a lot of money that's just tourist money, I call it. I call it dead money, and you love that money. You want those people to play every day as much as they can because for the most part, their opinion's not really very good. Obviously, some of them get lucky and pick the right name, the right number, whatever the heck it is. But, you want dead money in the game. It's just like when you guys play sports, it's the same thing. On Super Bowl day or whatever, you get plenty of people that don't bet all year, and they're coming in and betting that don't really have an opinion.
Same thing with the World Series of Poker. There's so many people that play that they have no chance whatsoever.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, I'm taking a look at the odds over the last 7 years, and they've actually been three of the favorites. Not, and again, the odds, like you said, are really good. You have to go back to Justify in 2018 to get a really short price at 3-1.
And he ended up winning the Triple Crown because everyone knew how good he was at the time.
And of course, last year was a little bit different too, a little bit short too. But we've seen winners recently from 8-1, 12-1, 15-1, 18-1, and of course the big ones. We've seen a 65-1 shot and an 80-1 shot.
But those days are over. Those days are over. The public won't let horses go off at that price. You have people that are just going to sit there and bet the longest shots. So all those odds are going to always go down. It's not like it used to be. I don't think you'll ever get more than 25, 30-1 anymore, in my opinion. Well, which is fine if you have them.
Yeah, exactly. Then we don't care. 30-1 is just fine for us. Yes. All right. So again, Thursday at 2:00 Eastern, John and I will go through the whole field in the Kentucky Derby and the Kentucky Oaks. So it should be a nice, long, detailed show. Looking forward to seeing everybody there. John, have a safe trip, and I'll see you on Thursday morning Vegas time.
Okay, fantastic. Thanks, Jim. Thanks for having me. Be well, guys. Stay safe.
John. Take care.
All right, John Hardoon from the Raggers and Sheets. Yeah, I'm going to try to get all these updated historical numbers for everybody. So when we do the show on Thursday, I'll try to get all the exact information as always, because I think the trends are very interesting, including, as John said, you have to go back to 1986, the last time Derby winner won from the pole. And that's actually, if you look at it, the only horse since 1964 to win from the pole, and the morning line favorite is going to try to do that on Saturday.
It's not going to happen.
Probably not. No,
it's not going to happen.
So it'd be interesting to see how high his odds go. You know, it might go to 7-1, something like that. Very possible.
But doesn't matter. He's not going to win.
Not going to matter. Yeah, you're right. It's not. There's no value. That's the problem. No value. If you're going to lose to that horse, then you bow to the horse and you go, great job becoming the second horse to win from the one position since 1964.
It would be a hell of a ride by the jockey to get him through all the traffic he's going to have to deal with. That's going to be the problem.
Yes. So we'll see. Again, it's not like it hasn't ever happened. It has. And maybe one of these years, I'm sure it'll happen again. But I'm not sure Renegade is like, say, Sovereignty last year. I guess if Renegade was like considered unbeatable in a way, then maybe he could win from anywhere. But we'll talk about the 20 horses that are going to be in the field on Thursday. And of course, we're also going to get into the Kentucky Oaks, and John's play in the Kentucky Oaks again is Prom Queen. And then he liked a couple of horses he threw in there for the Derby. And I believe he was looking at Chief Wallaby and Further Ado. Those are the two horses that he's zeroing in on as of today. So do you watch the Derby every week, Jim? Every year?
I'll be watching this week because I'm going to have my money on his picks.
Okay. That's the way to do it. That's sort of like what I did on Saturday with your baseball and basketball picks.
I'm not going to try to compete with John. He's pretty damn good at what he does. And I don't really handicap horses anymore. I used to own them. I had a stable, but I don't do it anymore. It's been a long time.
That must have been fun though.
It had its upsides. It had its downsides too. There were some issues, but
yeah, it's not an easy sport.
No, and there's a lot of.
It needs a commissioner.
It needs a lot of things to fix some of the problems it has.
It's too political, and this is the prime example of what you guys were talking about. It's terrible because I've been in that situation myself. I'll bet on the race. And really some of the times, and you know how it is, sometimes, and I shouldn't even say sometimes, a lot of the time your betting decisions come down to what the odds are. And so after you make a bet and then 2 minutes later, as you're watching the race, the odds change so dramatically that you say to yourself, well, I never would have bet it now. And then you're sitting there going, well, I guess I hope I win just to, make a couple of bucks now. But I never would have made that bet if I knew he was going to drop to 2-1 from 6-1.
If they start giving rebates on sports betting, it'll be the same thing. And you're gonna end up with a problem. Of course, you do get the price you bet at in sports. So that's different. It's not parimutuel. So that's a different issue. But they might have to do something like that in horse racing. I don't know. We need somebody in the Congress or the Senate or something to change this. Otherwise, we're not going to have horse racing for very long.
Yeah, it's what's also really bad about it is the fact that you need proper coverage of it, and there just isn't. You don't know when they're going to have. I mean, there's certain big races before the Derby that they can't have on NBC or Fox, whoever has it. Same thing during the regular non-network seasons. You turn on coverage of one track, and they'll have like three. It's like racing of the week, and then you check it out, and there's 3 different tracks they're covering. But for some reason, because they can't cover the 4th track, even though the 4th track has the biggest race of the week, and it's just you have to have another service because it's just you can't grow a sport that way. And so it just becomes a sport that's solely about betting on, and that's really not what every sport should be on. I know horse racing, above all other sports, is about making money, but still, you would want the casual fan, the fan that doesn't care about wagering. That's what could push it over the top and make it really popular. And those people have no chance to follow the sport, none whatsoever.
Absolutely none. That's right.
All right, Jim. So this is going to wrap it up. One more time about Dom DeMarco's.
One more time. Best Italian food in Las Vegas. Dom DeMarco's, 9785 West Charleston. I go there all the time. You should, if you're in Vegas, you should stop by. They have great Italian food, a great wine selection. The service staff is great, and I highly recommend it. It's right down the street from me, so it's 10 minutes. That's easy for me. And if you're anywhere in Las Vegas, it's close. I mean, if you go to the east side of town, it might be a 40-minute ride because the town has grown so damn much over the years. But it's a fantastic place to eat, great service, great food, and I highly recommend it.
Actually, what we should do is maybe we should talk to Dom DeMarco's about giving a promo where we say anybody that shows up with an out-of-town driver's license and says that they heard about Dom DeMarco's on the show with Jim Feist, they get some sort of, I don't know, discount or something. So
I'll mention that to the owner and the marketing manager. That's a good idea.
Yeah. Okay. So that's going to wrap it up.
Talk to you soon.
All right, Jim. We'll see everybody. Actually, Jim and I will see you guys on Friday with Andy Iskoe, more Major League Baseball and NBA playoff talk. So I think that's primarily what we're going to do on Friday's show, if I'm not mistaken, including maybe we'll talk a little bit more about the Derby. And then I will see everybody else, including John Hardoon, on Thursday for the Derby special. And then I'll see everybody who is interested in NASCAR at 4:00 today for our NASCAR show here on Proline TV. For Jim Feist, I'm Greg DePalma. Have a great